I hope you project properly. I hope you show that you did the assignment. And I want you to give her a nice big round of applause for volunteering to come to our school.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. And thank you, boys and girls, for having me. I'm really excited. I'm happy to be here. I'm just going to give you a little bit about my background. I was a police officer for about 11 years. It wasn't my passion. How many of you have, I should have asked you actually, how many of you have a passion or a dream that you want to do someday in your life? You want to be good? Yeah, I was just like you. And actually a lot younger when I knew the one thing I wanted to be was a singer and a teacher. But some teacher told me to think of something more realistic when I said I wanted to be a singer. So that made me, okay, well, maybe I'll think of something else, because you believe them. So that goes to show you people don't believe in you like you believe in yourself. Well, I became a police officer, and I left eventually because I wasn't happy there. It wasn't what I wanted to do, but I spent a lot of time there. But while I was there, I ended up singing for the police department, representing. I sang all the way to the White House for then President Bill Clinton as a police officer. I then became a school teacher because I knew that I had to go after my dream. That was the most important thing for me. I had to do that. I couldn't live my life not doing what I really wanted to do. And then at that time, as I became a teacher, I also taught myself to play instruments. So I'm actually self-taught. You can do that as well. How many of you in here play an instrument? Please, start looking into playing instruments. It can change your life. Well, when I did that, and having the experience of being a teacher and things like that, I said, as I was doing these functions, I'm a singer, so I go around, I travel, and I sing various songs, and I said this would be a great idea to bring into the schools and put together the music of the civil rights movement, because there's so much great music. So that's a little bit about why I'm here, and again, thank you for having me to come in and share with you. On that note, I want to start by sharing with you the music of the civil rights movement. Okay. All right. How many of you, how many of you have discussed or talked about the civil rights the civil rights period, the civil rights movement? Know anything about it? You ever heard of Emmett Till? Yeah. The Freedom Riders on the bus. You have YouTube. It's a great place to go and look up a lot of things that took place, and it lets you know where you've been, and why we're all here together, and how things have changed. But there's still a lot to go. There's still a long way to go. The music of the civil rights movement became important because it's an American story. It's not just a black story. It's a human story. There were whites who died. There were whites who participated and helped and believed in the march just like we did, and believed that we should, as African Americans, have that equal right. So it's not just about a black story or black music, it's about a human interest story. Where did the music of the civil rights come from? It came from Negro spirituals. What are Negro spirituals? Those are like songs that the slaves would write and sing to encourage themselves as they were picking cotton or getting treated unfairly and just working so hard. They would sing songs that encourage them, uplift them, and make them feel better. Something like, wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. There's an interesting story behind the reason why they wrote those songs. And during the civil rights movement, when the blacks were not allowed to swim in the swimming pools with the white children, they would sing those songs. They're like, that's okay, wade in the water. So they would sing these songs to encourage them and make them feel better about what was going to happen. So I'm glad that you know what pop music is. That's what, during that time, the 60s and the 50s, the pop artists started writing songs about this movement, because again, it was a human story. It was a human interest story that they saw the need to write songs about in the pop music. Also, and folk music. Folk music was also a style of music which they wrote about during the freedom songs. Folk music is any style of music that represents the community. Don't necessarily need to know how to even sing a song, but if you could write something, poetry, and you could play an instrument, these singers would just come together and sing. So it's folk music. These are the different genres in which the civil rights movement came from. The music, or the term freedom songs, it's a genre. What is a genre? Who can tell me what a genre is of music? I'll give you an example. We talk about pop music. Another genre of music is what? Raise your hand, all the way in the back. Rock and roll. Thank you, because I heard you from all the way back there. Very good. Yes. R&B, another genre of music. Yes. Rap, another genre. Country. Jazz. These are genres. So freedom songs, thank you guys, that's the genre of music. Freedom songs is also a genre of music. It's music with a message in it. Freedom songs is a genre, and that genre is, it has a message. What are those messages in this music? What are the messages? The themes are hope. When you hope, you anticipate something, you believe it's going to happen, your desire, your wish, something's going to happen. I'm not going to live this way anymore. One day they're going to stop spitting on me and burning down our homes and killing our children. One day I hope this is going to stop. I know it's going to stop. You believe, you wish, you desire. Salvation was another theme in the music. Deliverance from danger or difficulty. Delivered from harm. One day, we're going to be delivered from this all. It's going to be a better place. Redemption. To restore the value. Going to heaven is a better place. Redemption. Restore the value of their rights. Those are the different themes or the messages that were in these songs. And I'm sure you can, as you look through the songs, when you go home or you choose certain civil rights songs, and they're not all of those slavery spirituals, they're pop, they come from all different genres of music. How did the need for music play a role during the civil rights movement? Well, think about it. These people were going through a lot. And I would implore you, really just go home and just pull up just Google civil rights music, civil rights, and just sit down and watch 45 minutes of one of those YouTube videos. It's amazing, because as an adult, I went back and looked at it and I said, oh my gosh. I had to take my 3 sons and I said, sit and look at this. My kids are 13, 12, 11, and 7. And look what we had to go through. And what these kids, these children went through. And now, it's different, but you still have a lot of work to do, okay? So the music played a serious role in that. And when they looked for music to make them feel better, they went to the churches. They went to the church, Negro spirituals, later evolved with gospel music. So you had the spirituals and you had the gospel music coming from mostly African American churches. This was the music that the early civil rights leaders and singers used. The early music was the gospel and the spiritual. What happened beginning in 1962 to 1963, instead of using the old Negro spirituals, how many of you write? Rap, poetry, anything like that? Hello, I should see a lot of hands up. Your hands should be up. Not even if you don't write poetry. Yeah. Well, these are our future publishers. Money-making publishers, writers, books. What happened? Thank you. Great, guys. Boys in the front. Boys up front. What happened was now it impacted, as Ms. Rodriguez said, it impacted the world, and everyone was hearing what was happening in our country to our African American and other minorities and others. It was happening. And they started to write down what they started feeling. And they would take that song and that paragraph, whatever they wrote, and put it to a pop song. So for example, maybe you write all of these powerful lyrics, some meaningful lyrics, not the sky is brown and the clips and the dogs and those, the little things that don't make any sense. But imagine taking some really concrete lyrics and putting that to, let's say, what's that guy's name? Brown. What's his name? Brown? Chris Brown beat, okay? Or a Beyonce beat, or a Katy Perry beat. Taking your lyrics and putting it to a pop beat. That's going to impact the world. It's going to impact others and motivate others. That's what they did. They took their songs and put it to an artist that was hot during that time, and that was a new song. So there was another freedom song. So we had the spirituals, the Negro spirituals, the gospel, the pop, folk, all coming together. Finally, why was freedom song so important? Well, this is why it was important. Civil rights movement is one of the most important events in history. It was a forceful and collective movement to disband segregation and racial injustices. The people involved in the movement practiced non-violence and so carried no weapons to kill or held no mentality to harm. However, they did have a method of protection, and this was in song. It was music. These courageous individuals had a song in their brave hearts. They had music, and with it they marched through the thickness. Music played an essential role in the civil rights movement. The marchers of the civil rights movement used music to prepare them for the battle. It gave them courage and strength to face the greatest obstacles: racial injustice, segregation, hatred. The marchers of the civil rights movement held closely to themselves the concept of nonviolence and used music in their soul as their sole defense mechanism. When coming together to achieve unity, nonviolence marchers faced beating, hosing, burning, shooting, and jail with no defense. No one came to protect them or to their defense, other than their courage and their songs. Their songs kept them hopeful, knowing that it's going to be a better place, a better time. Things are going to change. We just got to keep singing. That gives them the courage in order to achieve and uplift their spirits and keep their minds focused on what they were trying to achieve. The individuals marched on Washington and belted out powerful hymns, among them the ever so prominent song, "We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday." The theme song movement, that was their thinking. The theme song of the movement, that was a theme song, and I know you guys have heard that song. They marched, they sang, they swayed, they protected themselves with the courage and song. Singing enabled the people of the movement to feel free, to feel secure in achieving their goals. It made them feel confident. It gave them support, loud, expressive movement, inspiring the very real. The mass of singing weaponless individuals, undeterred by insults. They were not bothered by the haters, the insults, the stares, the disgust. Was powerful in itself. It was enough to make them take notice of the gathering brave, nonviolent individuals, but they were nonviolent, and they continued to push forward for fundamental change. So, the music made it possible. What made the music so powerful was the fact that it could not be stolen. It could not be beaten. It could not be broken. It could not be insulted. It was and is abstract, and it was no one's claim. Many individuals faced beating, broken down, but those individuals had music. Music was invincible to all of those things, and that is why marchers were able to sing and use music as motivation and defense. So at this time, I would like to share with you those songs, 6 of them, and they vary from your spirituals to your gospel, to your pop, to your folk. And I hope you enjoy them. But I'm gonna need a little help.